Ryan's office revenge.
The resignation letter sat between me and Bob Sullivan's coffee-stained desk. 2 sentences, my signature, and 8 years of my life reduced to Times New Roman. "You can't be serious, Mac," he said, sweat beading on his forehead. I was dead serious. "But let me back up. You need to understand how I got here. My name is Wade Henderson. Most people call me Mac. I'm 51 years old, and 3 hours ago I watched a 25-year-old kid get handed the COO position while I got demoted to senior advisor, corporate speak for. We're keeping you around until we figure out how to replace you." It was supposed to be a routine Tuesday meeting. Safety updates, project timelines, maybe discuss the Dallas Convention Center delays. But when Bob Sullivan, owner of Sullivan & Associates Construction, cleared his throat and said, "I've got some big news," my gut twisted. Same feeling I got before IEDs went off in Iraq during my Army Corps days. Bob stood at the front wearing his usual fake smile. The AC hummed overhead, mixing with burned coffee smell and diesel exhaust from the yard below. "Starting next month," he said, "we're officially naming Brittany Sullivan as Chief Operating Officer." The room clapped, actually clapped. I sat there blinking. Brittany, the 25-year-old Stanford MBA who'd been here exactly 4 months. The one who still called rebar metal sticks and thought load-bearing calculations were suggestions. For 8 years, I'd been running Sullivan's field operations. Site evaluations, safety protocols, union negotiations, contractor disputes. I was the guy who got the Dallas project back on track when the original site had contamination issues. I handled EPA clearances while Brittany figured out which end of a level was which. Bob beamed at his niece like she'd cured cancer. I want to especially thank Mac for mentoring her these past months. His experience has been invaluable. My watch strap felt tight. I loosened it 1 notch, then tightened it again. Old Army habit, when things got tense, I adjusted my gear. Kept my hands busy while processing tactical situations. "Of course," Bob continued, "we're creating a new position for Mac. Senior Advisor for Strategic Operations. He'll work closely with Brittany to ensure smooth transitions." Translation kicked upstairs to a meaningless title while a kid with the right last name took my job. I walked straight out after the meeting. Didn't shake hands, didn't congratulate anyone. Just sat at my desk staring at my computer screen. My phone buzzed. Text from Ella, my daughter. "Dad, when are you coming home? It's almost 9 p.m. again." She was right. I typed back, "Soon, promise." Thumbs up emoji. Kid was 23, first year law school, and she'd learned not to expect much. Not since her mom died 5 years ago. Jennifer's accident still haunted me. She was rushing to the hospital because I'd taken rebar to the shoulder on a job site. Nothing serious, just needed stitches. But she was worried, driving too fast in the rain, and that semi ran the red light. Doctor said she died instantly. I blamed myself for 6 months before the grief counselor convinced me it wasn't my fault. Took another year to believe it. Work became my therapy after that. Easier than sitting in an empty house remembering what I'd lost. Ella understood, or pretended to, but she noticed the missed dinners, forgotten birthdays. Weekends I promised we'd do something and got called to fix another contractor disaster. That promotion to VP was supposed to be my reward for 8 years of 12-hour days. The plan was simple: get promoted, salary bump, cover Ella's law school without drowning in debt. Now I was watching 8 years go up in smoke. Instead of typing a resignation letter, I found myself writing something else. A list of things that had been bothering me about Sullivan's books. Missing purchase orders, invoices that didn't add up. Payroll discrepancies Bob always had explanations for. The pension fund deposits that seemed off. See, the Army taught me attention to detail. In combat engineering, miscalculations mean people die. So when numbers don't line up, I notice Sullivan & Associates had a pension plan for employees. Basic 401k with company matching. Supposed to be managed by an outside firm, but Bob insisted on handling transfers personally. Family business values, he called it. Over the past 6 months, I'd noticed contribution amounts on our pay stubs didn't match what was supposedly being deposited. Small differences at first. A few hundred here and there, but it was adding up. I pulled up pension account statements Bob shared at quarterly meetings, cross-referenced them with payroll reports I had access to as operations manager. The numbers were wrong, way wrong. According to my calculations, about $200,000 was missing from the pension fund. My watch strap cut into my wrist. I loosened it completely, then tightened it back to normal. Bob Sullivan wasn't just playing favorites with his niece. He was stealing from his employees' retirement money. The next morning, I came in early office, was quiet except for the janitor's cart rattling down the hall. I had keys to everything as operations manager, so I slipped into Bob's office and started photographing documents. Bank statements, transfer receipts, anything related to the pension fund. My phone had a decent camera, and my hands were steady from years handling precision instruments in the Army. Each photo was clear, properly lit, admissible as evidence if it came to that. What I found made my stomach turn. Bob had been skimming pension contributions for over a year, taking money that should have gone to retirement accounts and moving it to a personal investment account. The missing $200,000 was just what I could document. The actual theft was probably much higher. By Thursday, I had enough evidence to bury Bob Sullivan. Photos of bank transfers, copies of forged contribution statements, proof that pension money had been diverted to his personal accounts. The question was what to do with it. I could have gone straight to the authorities, should have probably, but something held me back. Maybe loyalty to the company or concern for the other employees who'd be hurt if Sullivan went under. Or maybe I just wanted to give Bob a chance to do the right thing. Friday afternoon, I knocked on his office door. He was reviewing blueprints for the Dallas project, already 3 weeks behind schedule thanks to Brittany's brilliant management. "Got a minute, Bob?" He looked up, all smiles. "Sure thing, Mac. What's on your mind?" I sat down and placed a manila folder on his desk, the pension fund. His smile flickered. "What about it?" "It's missing about $200,000. The color drained from his face. He opened the folder and saw the bank statements I'd copied. His hands shook slightly as he flipped through the pages. "Mac, I can explain this. I'm sure you can. Question is whether you're going to explain it to me or to the Department of Labor." Bob stood up and walked to his window, looking out at the construction yard. A crane sat idle against the afternoon sky. Somewhere, a dog barked in the distance. "It's not what it looks like," he said finally. "It looks like you've been stealing retirement money from 40 employees for over a year." He turned around. I borrowed it. The company was having cash flow issues, and I needed to cover payroll. I was going to put it back. With what money? "The Dallas project is bleeding cash because your niece doesn't know a foundation from a footing." Bob's face hardened. "Brittany is learning. She's got an MBA from Stanford, and I've got 22 years of real-world experience. Doesn't seem to count for much around here." We stared at each other across his desk. The AC hummed. Someone's radio played faintly from the warehouse. "What do you want, Mac? I want you to return the money, all of it, and I want a written guarantee that pension contributions will be handled by an independent firm from now on. And if I don't," I stood up. "Then I file a complaint with the Department of Labor on Monday morning, along with copies of every document in that folder." Bob sat down heavily in his chair. "You'd destroy the company over this, put 40 people out of work. You're the one who destroyed it. I'm just deciding whether to let you fix it quietly or watch you burn publicly." He was quiet for a long moment. "Then, I need time to liquidate some assets. The money will be back in the pension accounts by end of next week." I nodded. "And Brittany? What about her? She's not qualified to run operations." The Dallas project proves that Bob's jaw clenched. "She stays. She's family." That's when I knew Bob Sullivan would never change. He'd rather risk federal charges than admit his niece was incompetent. "Then we're done here," I said, picking up the folder. "Expect a call from the DOL investigator by Wednesday." I walked out without looking back. Went straight to my truck and sat there for 10 minutes, hands on the wheel, processing what just happened. Then I called Charlie Morrison, our union rep. Charlie was a good guy, former Marine, been fighting for workers' rights longer than I'd been in construction. "Charlie, it's Mac. We need to talk." Monday morning, I was sitting in a federal building downtown with Charlie and an investigator from the Department of Labor. Her name was Patricia Wells, and she looked like someone who didn't take crap from anyone. I laid out the whole story, showed her the evidence I'd gathered, explained how Bob had been systematically stealing from employee pension accounts while promoting his unqualified niece to cover his tracks. Wells took notes, asked sharp questions, and made copies of everything. "This is a clear violation of ERISA," she said. "We'll need to audit all company financial records going back 2 years. What happens to the employees?" I asked. "They'll get their money back plus penalties and interest. Sullivan will face federal charges for pension fund theft. Could be looking at 10 years if convicted." That afternoon, 2 federal agents showed up at Sullivan and Associates with a warrant. They seized computers, financial records, everything. Bob's face was white as a sheet when they let him out in handcuffs. Brittany lasted exactly 1 day as acting CEO before the board fired her. The Dallas project got shut down pending investigation. Most of the crew found jobs elsewhere within a week. Me? I got a call from Gary Brennan at Brennan Infrastructure while watching the news coverage of Bob's arrest. "Mac, I heard what happened at Sullivan. That took guts. Just did what was right. We could use someone with your integrity here and your security clearance. We're expanding our government contracts division." The offer was $195,000 plus equity, VP of Government Relations. My military background and security clearance made me valuable in ways Sullivan never appreciated. I took the job, used the signing bonus to pay Ella's first semester tuition up front. She hugged me so hard I thought she might crack my ribs. "I'm proud of you, Dad." Mom would be too. The words hit harder than I expected because she was right. Jennifer would have been proud, not just of exposing Bob's theft, but of finally standing up for myself. Starting at Brennan was like stepping into a different world. The office was smaller, the team tighter, the expectations higher. Gary didn't believe in hand-holding. He gave me 3 projects and said, "Don't screw them up." I didn't. My military background opened doors I never knew existed. Federal contracts required security clearances, and mine was still active. While other firms scrambled to get their people cleared, I could start immediately on government projects. The first job was a Veterans Affairs hospital expansion in Tucson. The irony wasn't lost on me, helping build a place where guys like me could get the care they needed. The project manager was a former Navy Seabee who understood how things should run. No politics, no nepotism, just good work. The second project was a federal courthouse in Albuquerque, high-security facility with specifications that would have given Brittany nightmares. Load calculations down to the ounce, materials sourced from approved vendors, background checks on every worker. I handled it like any other mission, methodically, thoroughly, successfully. The third was infrastructure work on Davis-Monthan Air Force Base. Walking onto that base brought back memories I'd buried for years. The smell of jet fuel, the sound of aircraft engines, the precision that kept everything running. This wasn't just construction, it was supporting the mission. Gary noticed my work ethic immediately. You don't just show up, Mac, you execute. That's what 22 years of military training does. You learn that mission success depends on everyone doing their job right the first time. No do-overs when lives are on the line. 3 months into the job, I got a call that made my day. Phil Martinez, one of the good guys from Sullivan, had been watching the news about Bob's trial. Mac, you hearing this? Bob got 8 years federal prison. 8 years. I wasn't surprised. Stealing $200,000 from employee pension funds while promoting your incompetent niece tends to upset federal judges, especially when that incompetence led to safety violations on multiple job sites. What about Brittany? I asked. Moved to California. Heard she's working for some startup calling herself a business development consultant, probably telling people she scaled operations at a major construction firm. I laughed in a way. She had scaled operations, scaled them right into the ground. The guys got their money back, Mac. All of it, plus penalties. Charlie says the settlement came to $300,000 total. Bob's personal assets covered most of it. That was the best news I'd heard in months. 40 guys who'd trusted their employer with their retirement money weren't going to get screwed because of one man's greed. Phil cleared his throat. Listen, Mac, there's something else. A bunch of us are thinking about making a move. Brennan hiring? That's how I ended up recommending 6 former Sullivan employees to Gary. Good people who'd gotten caught up in bad management. Gary hired 4 of them within 2 weeks. You're not just building projects, Mac. He told me after the interviews, you're building a team. That's valuable. He was right. Construction is about more than concrete and steel. It's about trust. Trust that the guy next to you knows what he's doing. Trust that your supervisor has your back. Trust that the company won't sacrifice safety for profits. At Sullivan, that trust had been broken. At Brennan, we were rebuilding it from the foundation up. Ella called me one evening while I was reviewing plans for the courthouse project. Dad, guess what? What's up? I got selected for the law review. Only 15 first years made it. I set down my blueprints. That's huge, Ella. Really huge. It means extra work, but it'll look great on my resume. And Dad, I've been thinking about specializing in labor law, worker protection, pension rights, that kind of thing. My throat tightened. What made you interested in that? Watching what you did with Sullivan, the way you protected those guys' retirement money. I want to do that kind of work. After we hung up, I sat in my home office looking at a photo of Jennifer on my desk. She would have been proud of both of us. Ella for her academic success, me for finally learning the difference between loyalty and enabling. The thing about betrayal is you usually see it coming, you just don't want to believe it. I'd seen the signs at Sullivan for months, the favoritism, the corner cutting, the missing money, but I'd told myself it would work out, that Bob would eventually do the right thing. I was wrong, and 40 employees almost paid the price for my willingness to look the other way. The Army taught me that good leaders protect their people even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. I should have reported the pension theft the moment I suspected it. Instead, I gave Bob a chance to make it right, and he chose family loyalty over basic honesty. That's a lesson I won't forget. Sometimes protecting the mission means sacrificing the base. Sometimes doing the right thing means watching everything burn down around you. 6 months after Bob's sentencing, I was walking through the VA hospital project when my phone rang. Unknown number, but I answered anyway. Mac Henderson? Yeah. This is Angelo Rodriguez. I worked construction at Sullivan until they shut down. I just wanted to say thank you. Angelo, I remembered him. Good welder. 3 kids, about 15 years from retirement when Sullivan collapsed. For what? For getting our pension money back. My wife and I, we were scared we'd lost everything. 20 years of saving gone, but because of what you did, we're okay now, better than okay. I didn't know what to say, just did what was right, Angelo. No, you did more than that. You risked everything. Your job, your reputation. You could have kept quiet and collected your paycheck. After he hung up, I stood there in the half-finished hospital corridor thinking about choices. The choice to speak up or stay silent. The choice to protect yourself or protect others. The choice between what's easy and what's right. A year later, Brennan had grown by 40%. We'd landed 3 major federal contracts, hired 20 new employees, and opened an office in Colorado. Gary made me a partner with a 5% equity stake. At 52, I finally had the financial security I'd been chasing for decades. Ella was thriving too. Made law review editor, landed a summer internship with a firm specializing in employment law, and got accepted to a semester abroad program studying international labor rights. The girl who used to wait up until 9 p.m. for her dad to come home was now changing the world. You know what's funny? She said during one of our weekend dinners, I used to be mad that you worked so much, but watching how you handled the Sullivan thing, that taught me what integrity looks like. I cut into my steak, not trusting myself to respond right away. Your mom taught you integrity. I just finally figured out how to use mine. Dad, can I ask you something? Shoot, do you ever regret it? Blowing up your old job, starting over? I thought about that. You know what I regret? Waiting so long to do it. I should have reported Bob the minute I suspected theft. Instead, I gave him chances he didn't deserve. But you did eventually do the right thing. Eventually isn't good enough when people are counting on you. That's the truth I learned at 51 years old. Leadership isn't about avoiding hard decisions. It's about making them before they become disasters. 2 years after Sullivan collapsed, I got an unexpected visitor at the Brennan office. Brittany Sullivan, looking nothing like the confident MBA who'd waltzed into that promotion meeting. She wore work boots, jeans, and a hard hat tucked under her arm. Mac, I was hoping we could talk. I gestured to a chair. What's on your mind? I'm working for a small firm in Phoenix now. Starting at the bottom, learning the basics I should have known before. She paused. I wanted to apologize, not just for taking your position, but for being so arrogant about it. I studied her face. She looked older, more serious. What changed? Reality. I spent 6 months unemployed after Sullivan collapsed. No one would hire me. Every interview ended the same way. Weren't you the COO when that safety incident happened? Finally got this job because the owner took pity on me. And how's it going? Hard, really hard. I'm learning load calculations, soil mechanics, safety protocols. All the stuff you tried to teach me that I thought I could skip. She met my eyes. You were right about everything. I wasn't qualified. I wasn't ready, and people could have died because of my mistakes. I nodded. What do you want from me? Nothing. Just wanted you to know that I get it now. Experience matters. Competence matters. Lives depend on getting it right. After she left, I sat in my office thinking about second chances. Brittany was doing the work, learning the right way. It would take years, but maybe she'd become the professional her uncle never let her be. Gary poked his head in. Everything okay? Yeah, just thinking about how things work out. Speaking of which, we got the contract for the new VA medical center in Denver. $50 million project. Want to lead it? I smiled. Absolutely. 3 years ago, I was sitting in a meaningless meeting watching incompetence get rewarded while experience got demoted. Today, I'm running $50 million federal projects and mentoring the next generation of construction professionals. The difference? I finally learned that loyalty without accountability isn't loyalty at all. It's enabling. Every weekend, Ella and I have dinner together. She tells me about her cases, workers whose pensions got stolen, employees facing retaliation for reporting safety violations, people who need someone to fight for them. She's becoming the lawyer I wish I'd had when Sullivan was stealing from us. Last month, she showed me an article she'd written for the Law Review titled Pension Fund Theft and Employee Protection, a case study in corporate accountability. The case study was Sullivan and Associates. Her dad was the whistleblower who'd exposed the fraud. You're going to help a lot of people with this, I told her. I learned from the best. I keep a photo on my desk now, not just Jennifer, but all 3 of us from Ella's college graduation. Jennifer's been gone for 7 years, but I can feel her pride in both of us. Ella for her achievements, me for finally becoming the man Jennifer always believed I could be, the man who stands up for what's right, even when it costs everything, especially when it costs everything. Sometimes I drive past the old Sullivan building. It's a Starbucks now. The construction yard where I spent 8 years building someone else's dream is a strip mall. Bob's in year 3 of his federal sentence. The 40 employees he robbed are approaching retirement with their pensions intact. That's justice. Not revenge, not satisfaction. Just the simple knowledge that good work gets rewarded and bad behavior gets consequences. Listen, if you're reading this and thinking about your own workplace situation, here's what I learned. You can't fix broken systems by working harder within them. You can't change corrupt leadership by being more loyal. And you can't protect people by staying silent when those in power abuse their authority. Sometimes the most loyal thing you can do is walk away. Sometimes protecting your team means exposing your boss. And sometimes the only way to save what matters is to burn down what doesn't. Your integrity isn't negotiable. Your principles aren't for sale. And your silence isn't protecting anyone. It's just making you complicit. Do the right thing, even when it's hard. Especially when it's hard. The people counting on you deserve nothing less.